AviationPros.com is the portal website for AMT, Airport Business, and Ground Support Worldwide magazines. Visit daily for breaking news, industry blogs, and insightful articles from our magazine's editorial team. And don't forget to sign up for our publication's daily e-newsletters. It's all at AviationPros.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Aviation Pros podcast. I'm Joe Petrie, Editor-in-Chief for Airport Business. Boston Logan took its passenger amenities to a whole new level with the completion of its Terminal E renovations at the end of 2023. The $33 million project brought sustainable development and new advanced amenities for travelers of all types with the goal of serving a broad swath of people for years to come. Suffolk's Sam Sleiman had a unique perspective on the project, having spent years with Massport preparing for the project, then joining Suffolk, where he got a chance to bring the project to completion. I got a chance to talk with Sam about the project recently and how they were able to complete such a major program inside a working airport. Sam, well, thank you very much for speaking with me today. I understand how busy things are for you right now as far as there's a lot of things going on in the industry, but one of them that I found is a really interesting topic that you've been involved with on multiple sides of the project is the Terminal E project at Boston. So can you go ahead and start off and tell me a little bit about Suffolk's overall approach when managing a scaled project like Terminal E at Logan?
Yeah, first of all, I am so honored to be part of that project. I think it's an iconic project for the city of Boston. Massport had a vision of building a iconic terminal for our international travel. As you know, international travelers are a little bit more picky, if you will, and they like to see facilities that cater to their needs. And that international terminal is what the city needed, and it's really a jewel for the city. The approach for us has always been focus on three things: partnership, collaboration, and trust. The Suffolk team has been working at Logan for over 15, 20 years, doing now repeated project for Massport and Logan Airport. And the reason they do that is because of the partnership that we have. They're not just a client. Our relationship goes beyond client relationship. We are trusted partners for them. We have a lot of collaboration with their stakeholders. We know them, they know us, and mainly because we are the biggest contractor in the area, we actually bring a significant trade partners with us, and we bring a buying power, if you will, to bear for the project that we are doing in Boston, and especially at Logan Airport. So the reason that project was successful because of the partnership, because we had a ability to provide to them the right team and the right support for the project. At Suffolk, we have a very unique capability and very unique approach to the projects. We use the NASA model. And what does that mean? In NASA, you got the flight crew, they handle the flight, but you also have the mission control, which is feed the flight crew all kind of data, support them with technology, and make sure that their mission goes well. Same thing for Suffolk. We have mission control, and our mission control feeds the field team that actually managing the project with all kind of data, provide them with technology so they can actually see how the project going. If there's any early signs of issues, they can manage it immediately and keep the project on time, on budget, and be able to deliver predictability to the client. And that's what Massport wanted it, and that's how we delivered that project.
Now, obviously, with a project that big and complex, there can be a lot of challenges with getting it done. Can you talk about from Suffolk some of the big challenges you had and really how you worked through these complexities in order to make sure that you kept this airport or this project going forward?
Yeah, I mean, you can start with the shape of the building. First of all, that building has a roof that curves in 3 different dimensions, and that roof is very unique. And we had to use a lot of virtual modeling and building information models to be able to put all our trade information all together to make sure that they fit under that roof with all the system that they had and all the geometry that was designed for, and deliver exactly what the vision of Massport and the architect was for the project. So we used a lot of technology to be able to implement that. At the same time, you're working in a active airport. So working in an active airport is very different than working in a greenfield. You have passenger you have to worry about, you have operation you have to worry about, you have aircraft that you have to worry about, you have even traffic on the roadway of the airport that you have to worry about to be able to deliver all your material in time for the project. So we approach our project in a way that will allow us to minimize the minimize the impact to the passenger and to the operation. So what we did originally, we tried to make most of the project area landside construction. So we separated that from the air side and we made it landside operation. And then when we started connecting to the existing terminal, that's where the coordination and the planning had to happen in a way that makes sure that we're meeting not only the safety of the passenger and the worker, but the security of the airport. Safety and security at airport goes hand in hand, basically, and you have to meet all the security requirement and making sure that you have a team that understand those security and safety requirements. So we also have a very rigorous training program for our, not just our employees at the airport, but our trade partner at the airport to make sure that they understand all the aspects of the operation over there.
Now, with all those moving parts and everything, I got to imagine there was a lot of different opportunities for innovation as far as technologies and methodologies Suffolk did on this project. Can you talk a little bit about some of them and what you had in order to help enhance the efficiency and effectiveness of trying to go through this project?
Yeah, I mean, we had, like I said, we used a lot of building information models, virtual models. What we try to do is build it before we build it. Basically, we build it in a model, virtual, before we build it in the field. So we were trying to make sure that any conflict, any clashes between different elements, HVAC, mechanical, plumbing, made sure that all those conflict and clashes got resolved electronically in the model before we actually put it in the field. That was a huge part of our technology. The second part is we had technology that we implemented over there, which was the open space, which is 360-degree job site photo capture technology. We have people walking with their hard hat. They have a camera on the top of the hard hat, and it takes pictures 360 throughout the project. And what it does, it interlaces all the pictures together to form a model. And you can take that model and on a daily basis see what the progress on the project, what progress took place and what progress should have had taken place, and making sure that you are adjusting your work force, you're adjusting your schedule to get back to what it's supposed to be. We also use the technology that actually the project has a lot of terrazzo, and the terrazzo was designed in a very elegant pattern. But to do terrazzo, you have to lay it out all in the floor before you pour the terrazzo. So we use the technology that it's a robot technology. Basically, you feed all the information to it, and it actually goes and lay out the whole patterns of terrazzo on the concrete floor. That expedited the work and actually made it more consistent of what we want to do. We also used other technologies to manage the project and make sure that our deliveries are on time, the deliveries to the projects from all the trades and the material are coordinated with the airport operations, so we don't impact the airport operations. Suffolk has what we call a technology team, and we have a part of our technology team. They support what they call Boost. Boost is a program that I don't think any other contractor does other than Suffolk. We invite entrepreneur companies, technology companies that would want to do new innovative technology in construction. We actually provide for them that venue. We help them get funding, and we try to put in place that technology on our job site so they can test it. And if the testing is successful, then they can take that technology and move it forward as a commercial technology. But we used a lot of those technologies on our job site.
Now, one of the most important aspects of this project was, of course, sustainability. Whenever we're doing anything in this country, we want to make sure that we're having the most sustainable efforts that we can when it comes to building our new airport facilities. This was no exception with its LEED Gold certification. Can you talk about some of the practices that Suffolk did as far as making sure the materials used or some of the practices in place to help meet that gold certification?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was, again, it's a partnership between us and the designer and Massport. When the design team was designing the terminal, we worked with them very closely to choose materials that are locally sourced, that are recyclable from recyclable material. We also worked with them to develop initiatives that are cost effective but also sustainable. So, for instance, one section of the terminal has glass that is produce electricity. So has film on the glass that can produce electricity from solar panels. So, and also we have a glass on the other part of the terminal that it's called dynamic glass. So what it does is when the sun hits it, it actually darken the glass and make it look like your sunglasses in the sun, they shade. So what it does, it reduces the glare into the terminal, and it reduces the heat gain in the terminal, and allow for air conditioning in the summer to be less, to be able to maintain adequate, comfortable place for the passengers. The other part that we work with them on is how do you provide HVAC to the terminal. This terminal has a very high ceilings, and most designers would try to push that whole air conditioning and heating down. But what we did is we did displaced HVAC, which is basically heating the area where the people are, the first 10 feet from the floor, and air conditioning that area only. And that new technology that we use in that terminal is really, provided a good way for the airport to save energy and also to meet their sustainability. So it's a combination of a lot of things that we did with the designer during the design and then during the construction to make sure that the project met the LEED certification, the gold LEED certification.
Now, you talked before about the whole challenge of getting through putting in this facility, especially in a active airport. That's always adds that extra layer of fun when it comes to trying to get some of these projects done. Tell me, how did Suffolk manage the challenge of incorporating the new structures and expanding existing ones with minimal disruption to the airport operations or passenger safety?
Again, it's all about early planning. If you do early and continuous planning that include all the stakeholders, you can achieve success in any airport project. But you have to be willing to work with everybody. For instance, we built part of the new terminal over an area that the TSA does screening for checked baggage. So we had to sit down with the TSA and make sure that we are providing access for their employees to be able to do their job, to get to that area and to do their job over there and do it in a way that they felt comfortable that we are not impacting them. So planning every aspect of the project was very important for us, and working with with the stakeholders, all the stakeholders, and making sure that we have constant communication with them and making sure that we are understanding their operation. And that's a very important part of what Suffolk does. As you know, I come from the airport background, so I bring with me the owner perspective of what they want. So we planned our work and we planned our execution with that mindset, that understanding the operation of the airport. We understood how the airlines, how the airport operation is conducted. And that is really a differentiator for us, because a lot of contractors can build building, but they don't understand the operation of what they're building. And we understand that operation, and because of that, we were able to provide a plan and execution that meets the need of all the stakeholders and make sure that we can take advantage of their operation during construction. So, we know what time is the last flight comes in, what time the first flight leaves, We bought our project between those hours where there is very significant work that impact the operation. So when there is no operation, we did a lot of work at night during those hours. But we knew exactly what the operation, and that's how we were able to successfully implement the project.
A lot of moving parts and a lot of partners. With that being said, with all these stakeholders, I mean, can you discuss a little bit of the importance of the collaboration efforts and how that played a role into the success of the Terminal E project?
Yeah, I mean, I cannot emphasize enough that partnership and collaboration was key to everything we did over there. We had daily meeting with the operational folks on the airport to tell them what to expect that day operation to be, so they understood what we needed to do. We had weekly meeting with the leadership of the airport and the project management to plot our next 3 weeks and beyond. We had meeting with CBP, which is, as you know, Custom Border Protection. We're in Terminal E, and they are a federal agency, so they have their own rules and regulation, and we wanted to make sure that they understood where we were in every aspect of the project and how we are going to impact the passengers that are arriving from international flight, and they need to be controlled by CBP, and that we're not going to interfere with that process. We had to work with the TSA on all their security checkpoint and all their baggage screening system, and make sure that we have collaboration on when can they actually shut down one section of the screening so we can do some work while they are still operational in the terminal. So, like I said, it's major big projects that took a lot of effort to coordinate and a lot of coordination and collaboration with the stakeholders.
Now, Terminal E features a lot of advanced passenger amenities like sensory rooms and high-quality concessions. How did Suffolk approach the construction of these specialized areas to ensure they met the needs of a diverse passenger set coming through?
Yeah, so we worked with Massport and the concession because the way that Massport does it is we build the base building and we build the shell for the concession, and the concession comes in and they do their fit out of their stores. But you don't want to open a terminal and have a space that is still not completed for concession. So we work hand in hand with the concession to provide access to the space. In a timely manner, like if it is a retail space, we give them about 3 months before we open the terminals for them to finish their work. If it is food and beverage, we give them 6 months to do their kitchen and everything. So we allow them into our construction site so they can do their construction so we can open at the same time. So that was a Massport requirement, and Suffolk worked very closely with the concession to do that. On the other hand, Massport is very forward-thinking in the passenger amenities. So they require every seat in that terminal has a plug-in for your phone or for your electronic. Most airports you go to, they have 20% or 25% of the seats in the hold room has access to a plug-in or electronic. Massport require 100% because of the passenger experience. That's one of the elements. They also require the designer and the contractor to provide various seating options for the passengers. You remember the passengers at airport are the most diverse combination of people that you'll ever see anywhere. Not only they come from different background, different culture, different country. They are all you got elderly, you got young kids, you got babies, you got people that require assistance. Any kind of diverse population you find in an airport, especially in an international terminal like that. So they wanted to provide a facility that has ability to serve all these kind of diverse population, and that's what we try to do as partnership with them on these projects. They not only have family rooms for the restaurants. They have kids play area. They have the sensory room, which is the first in the nation sensory room for kids and adults that have trouble with travel and they need a different setup to calm down and to be ready for their journey. They have also pet relief rooms. There's so many amenities that in that terminal that Massport provided and the designer designed and we built for them and made their vision a reality again for the passenger amenities. But I don't think there's a terminal in this nation that has as much passenger amenities at that terminal.
And what I think is one of the most unique part of the project in itself is you. You get to be one of the few people that have come from your background with Massport and then to come around and work on, completing something that you've obviously been involved with, thought process and planning for time to be. Reflecting on your previous role, how did their experience there influence your approach and priorities when it came to Suffolk leading the efforts on the Terminal E project?
Yeah, I mean, a great question. Like I said before, not only at Logan, but in all our aviation work at Suffolk, what we bring to the table is the owner perspective, and this is where we differentiate ourselves. I not only ran the capital program and the design construction at Logan, but I also was in the aviation department, and I understand all the aviation operation of the airport. So I come from operation background and design construction background, and I know how airport works, the airport relation to the airlines, how the airlines work, how the concession works, how the maintenance of the airport terminals is executed, how's the fire department, the police, everybody conduct their operation. We understood it, and we come from that perspective to make sure that we provide our client with a holistic approach to their project from a client perspective. So that's where I think our value is added, and usually the client really appreciate that approach because they don't have to tell you how they operate before you plan your project. You plan your project understanding their operation, and that's make it more efficient, less work for the client, and at the end of the day, predictable outcome for the client and for the project. I think I am blessed to be able to see this particular project from both sides of the aisle. I was the director when we started the design, and a lot of the design element in that terminal. I had, a part of it, and then, see that vision come into reality with Suffolk team and Massport team and the design team is really it's something that make me very, very proud of the whole team as a whole for providing this iconic building for the city.
As well it should. So given all the flexibility that is necessary in airport operations today, what specific design and construction elements does Suffolk incorporate into Terminal E to enhance the operational flexibility going forward?
So I think it's not just Suffolk, it's mostly the team, the design team, Massport and Suffolk, all AECOM as a designer with Luis Vidal, Massport with their vision, and Suffolk with our implementation, getting all of us together to talk about what's possible in the design and the construction is what makes this terminal unique. For instance, when we were designing the security checkpoint, the new security checkpoint, we tried very hard to work with the designer and our trades to minimize columns, steel columns. So in the future, if the security checkpoint is changed, we can move equipment, we can add new technology, we can do a lot of things without the constraint of the structure in between the space. So, the designer will say, hey, we want a column of free space in this area for future flexibility, and we will work with them on what that means from structure, from cost, from schedule, and how can we implement it. But that's the kind of stuff that we brought to the table to make it flexible. The other part of it is that this terminal is designed to serve wide-body aircraft, 4 gates for wide-body aircraft, but also is designed to serve, instead of 4 wide-body, 6 narrow-body aircraft. So it's designed to add more jet bridges to the existing space for narrow body aircraft. So if the airlines are changing the equipment they use for overseas flights, which is coming, the airport and the terminal can accommodate those ever changing need of the airlines.
My last question for you today is, this was obviously a great accomplishment by the team in order to get everything done at Boston, but we're still in the midst of one of the biggest building booms in the aviation industry in this country's history. What do you see as the next major trends and challenges in airport construction and modernization, and how are you preparing for them?
So I think that from all the projects that we go and talk to a different client and different airport, one of the things that COVID hit a lot of aviation, a lot of airport very hard, as you know, and many airports put on hold their development program and enhancement program for their facilities. And now the passenger has came back, as you know, much more than before COVID. And the airport are playing, are behind in providing facilities for that increase in passengers. So what the airport wants, they want fast but predictable and efficient and economical solution to their expansion facilities. In order to do that, you need to be able to provide not only the team that experienced with that, but also the support that the company provide behind that team to be able to provide predictable outcome. And that's what Suffolk bring to the table. Like I said, we have our mission support for all our teams that is data driven. And when you work with data and your decisions are based on data, your outcome is predictable in my mind. There's a lot of changes in the aviation industry, obviously, for the design of the terminals, and people wants to really do a touchless journey. That means they don't want to touch anything. They want to get to the airport and let the technology bring you all the way to the gate. That is a future technology that's need to be incorporated into the airport, and the airport will have to design their facilities to be flexible to accommodate those new technology in the future.
Sam, I want to thank you for taking the time of speaking with me today. Again, congratulations on the completion of Terminal E at Logan, and can't wait to see more what the future has to hold for Suffolk.
Thank you. Really appreciate your time, taking the time on this, and hopefully we can collaborate with you on other topic in the future.
Thanks again for listening to today's podcast. To hear more from the most important leaders in the industry, check out our website, AviationPros.com. I'm Joe Petrie. We'll catch you next time.